that you got coming out of your paycheck.
Exactly. Net income. But I want you to think of net income in the big picture of everything, of your whole life. But you're exactly right, though. Net income is essentially all the money, all the assets, all the money that you have, whether it be a house, a car, anything that's worth any value, so minus everything that you owe, all the bills that you owe. That's your net income. So let's say that if you have, let's say if with your house, your car, anything that you have of value, let's say that's $20,000, but your expenses are $12,000. So you would take that 20,000 minus the 12,000, and that will tell you you have a net income or net worth of $8,000. All you did was take all the money that you had, the value that you had, and you subtracted all your liabilities. That's your net income. And this is key. This is why I want you guys to really know that too as well, because your net worth is because as I was budgeting and getting my stuff together, what was happening? As I was paying off those credit cards and as I was paying those debts down and I was accumulating money in my savings account and in my emergency fund and I started my 401k retirement account in a Roth IRA, what was I doing? Somebody tell me what was I doing in that process? Anybody? What'd you say? Well, in that process, I was building my net worth. I can remember to the day when I got to the point, my net worth was in the negative for so long. And this is a true story. I remember the day, because I used to calculate my net worth, like every 6 months, I would recalculate my net worth. Because what that did for me, it let me see that I was digging myself out of that financial hole. And I remember the day when I calculated my net worth, and it said I had a net worth of $500. I was worth, from a financial standpoint, Dale Morgan was worth $500, right? Now, to me, that was a big thing because I had been so far in the hole to actually be above ground now was just an exhilarating thing. It was so great, and I loved it. So that's how you can kind of correlate net worth to your budgeting. What about that credit score? Why is this so important? Somebody tell me about credit score and why it's so important. It's just a number.
The higher your credit score is, the more you'll be able to gain.
Right. But why is it so important in your life though? But it's just a number.
I don't know. It's very important though.
It's very important, right?
Yeah.
So what your credit score does, it helps lenders determine whether you will pay back or not. How many of you out there who have family members that you've loaned money and they haven't paid you back? We all do. We may have been somebody who has borrowed money and didn't pay it back. But that's you have like a unwritten credit score. If you have a family member who borrows money from you all the time and they don't pay back when they're supposed to pay back or when they say they're going to pay back on time, they are actually kind of building a credit score rapport with you because here they come again. They may pay me back or they might not, right? Well, that's how lenders view it as well. They'll look at your credit history to determine, hey, do we want to loan this person $10,000? Their credit history is kind of shaky, or their credit history is great. Yeah, sure, we'll give it to them, right? This is what a good credit score is and how it's calculated. 300 to 575, you're in bad shape. 580 to 669 is fair. Good is 670 to 739. Very good is 740 to 799, and 800 is exceptional. If you can stay in that good range there, you won't have no problem getting a loan or considered for a loan or any kind of capital. Start getting below that, there'll have to be some certain things you'll have to do. I myself personally, I always stay up here in the very good range, and in the full disclosure, I think last time I checked my credit score was like 790 or something like that. But I'm cognizant and vigilant of things that I do to help keep my credit score to where it needs to be. And that could save you money. That saves you money in the long run because, like you said, your credit score determines how much money you have to pay, right? That credit score determines, let's just say, if you borrow $500, if your credit score is over here in the fair range, you might have to pay back $800. Where it's over here in the very good range, you might only have to pay back $600. So that's why credit is important in every facet of your life. This is kind of what makes up your credit score. It's your payment history. That's about 35%. Again, that tells people, does this individual pay back on time? Do they pay when they're supposed to pay? Do they actually pay at all? This tells 30% is the amount that you owe. All those bills that you have, like I had some student loan debt, I had some credit card debt. When you pull up your credit report, it'll tell exactly how much money I owe to the student loan people. It'll tell exactly how much money you owe to whatever credit card and whatever debt that you owe. Your credit history. This tells how long you've been using your credit, right? That's 15%. Types of credit, loans, credit cards, student loans, auto loans. All of that's included on your credit score, 10%. Credit inquiries, and what that is, I'm gonna tell you this. So I had this happen to me years ago. I was trying to get and you gotta watch out for this because they don't tell you. I was trying to get pre-approved for an auto loan, and I went to this place. It might have been CarMax, and CarMax, you know how they have this slogan: we guarantee we'll get you financing. Don't worry about it. You just come and we'll get you financing. So when I gave them my Social Security number, and they ran my credit report, I thought they were just going to run it one time. But what happened? Somebody tell me what happened?
They ran it to all different kind of people, different banks, 1,000 different banks. Exactly. Every time, when you think about your credit score, every time you let somebody run your credit score, to run your credit report, your credit score goes down. Because you're out there soliciting for funds, right? And I went to that CarMax, and I thought they was going to do it once, and they ran my credit like 3 times it was 7 times at that time because they don't care. They just trying to get you approved so you can buy that car. So big cognitive vision of that is that these places, every time somebody runs they call it a hard inquiry, which means you're trying to procure capital, and the hard entries are the ones that will take your credit score down. Then they have something called soft entries that they won't take your credit score down. And an example of a soft entry is if you're trying to get approved for a mortgage. They consider that a soft entry because they know you're shopping around for the best rate. Debt management. When it comes to debt, get you out a sheet of paper. Write out similar. You can even use that budget sheet that you use. And you wrote out all your expenses. List out all your debt with details, the interest rate, how much the payment is, and how much longer you owe on it. And adjust your budget accordingly. They have this term called debt stacking, and I'm try to give you the best example as I can. Let's say you have 3 bills. Say bill A, B, and C. Now let's say bill A is $100 a month, bill B is $200 a month, and bill C is $300 a month. And let's say you've been paying all of those. So let's say you go out and you get you a part-time job. So now you got some extra money. So now you doubling up on bill A to get that knocked out. So you knock out bill A. So let's say you went from paying $100 a month on bill A to paying $200 a month. So now you knock out bill A. So that's freeing up $200. Now you got bill B, which is $200 a month that you're still paying. So now you take that $200 that you were using for bill A and you use it for bill B. So now you're paying $400 a month on bill B where you was usually paying $200. So that'll help you pay off bill B sooner, right? And then so now you're paying $400 a month on bill B, and then you pay that off, and then you move it to bill C where you owe $300 a month, which you still been paying. So now on bill C you're paying $700 a month, and you get but it's helping you pay it off quicker. So once you pay off bill C, now you freed up $700 a month that you were paying out in expenses. I hope I explained that. I hope I explained that good too. Bi-weekly payments. Let me ask you a question. Normally, you pay all of your bills once a month, right? Everybody? Normally we pay our bills once a month. But
Yes.
for a lot
Yeah.
of us, we get paid when?
Weekly or bi-weekly?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly most, right? But for
Mhm.
I
most,
do.
it's
Twice
bi-weekly.
a month. Yes.
So let's say, I'll use a car payment as example. Now, you know that if you make bi-weekly payments, you can pay your car off quicker. Why? How do you think it's possible? How do you think it's possible?
Budgeting.
Budgeting, but okay, if you normally say you got a $300 car payment and you pay it the first of every month. Let's say you break that $300 car payment up into $150 every 2 weeks. Could you do that? Does that sound sensible? Do we know
Yeah.
do we know what interest is? We heard of that term called interest?
Unfortunately.
Yes. By you breaking up that $300 payment and paying $150 every 2 weeks as opposed to just $300 every month, what you're doing is you're knocking down the principal. And this is how interest works. The bigger the principal, so let's say your interest rate is 5%, and you have a principal. So they take 5% times your principal, which is the amount you owe, and that's how they determine how much interest you pay. But if the bigger your principal, the more money you pay. The smaller the principal, the less money you pay. So by you breaking up those monthly payments, you paying the principal down sooner than you normally would. So that's kind of how that works. Just remember, bi-weekly payments will help you pay off anything quicker if you make bi-weekly payments. You can still set up your payment schedule to pay every month, but then you can make bi-weekly payments, and you could take a 4-year loan and knock it down to 3 years by making bi-weekly payments. Investing. Go ahead.
Sometimes when you make those type of payments, my sister taught me to say that, like, if you send a check off or whatever, you specify that it's
Yes.
for the interest rate.
Yeah. Well,
The extra, if you send any extra besides the car payment, you specify that it's for the interest rate. So that brings the interest down as well, correct? Am I correct?
I'm gonna say this. When you send in that check, let's say you send it in an extra $100. You want to say on your car payment, you want to say, I want this to go towards the principal. Because
Okay.
the interest is based on the principal.
Okay.
Right? And the principal is what? That's the amount of money you still owe on the loan.
Okay.
So when you send in an extra, say, I want this to go towards the principal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she did say principal. I knew it was one of them.
She probably did. She probably did. So when we talk about investing, we talk about stocks and bonds. Now, stocks consist of shares by which a corporation is divided. You could buy stock. You hear people like, you can go out here, you can buy stock in Nike, you can buy stock in Walmart. And what it does is gives you quote unquote ownership of the company. And you make money off of those stocks. Let's say if you buy some stock, you invest in Nike, and those stock cost you $10 a share. And each share you pay $10. Say let's say you buy 100 shares for $10 a piece, but then the stock goes up to $15. That means now you have made $5 times 10 off each. $10. You making $5 extra off each share. You get that? So that's kind of how the stock market works. You try to buy low and sell high. If I pay $10 for them, I sell them for $15 when the stock goes up. And that's how I make my money. So I want to give you all an example. Have we ever heard the term time value of money? Like investment. When we talk about investing again, there's a misconception, and even I had this misconception coming up. People think that when you talk about investing money, they think that you have to have a whole bunch of money to invest. That's not true.
You can start an investment account through your bank, and I know people. I know people that can help you start an investment account. You can start an investment account with $25 a week, $50 a month, whatever you got. You can start an investment account, and I want to show you how the difference is when the sooner you start, the better it is. So if we look over here in our example, if we take year one, and this is how investing in interest and stuff works. So year one, let's say I invested $1,000, and the interest rate was 5%. So all I do is take, for year one, I'll take $1,000 and I times it times 5%. You take 1,000, you can, if you got a calculator or your phone over there, just pull out there, type in $1,000 times 1.05, and that should give you 1,050. So in year one, I made $50 off of my $1,000. If it's 5%. Year one, I made $50 off $1,000. So now, well, how much money do I have in year two? Somebody, how much money do I have in year two? Hint. So now in year two, I'm starting off with $1,050. Now, here's the key here. In year two, I started off with $1,050, and I'm still earning 5%. But look at my earnings for year two. Why is my earnings for year two more than year one? Somebody please tell me. Why are my earnings for year two more than year one?
Because interest.
Because of interest?
Accrued or whatever, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Interest accrued. Because why? Because what happened from year one to year two? I had how much more money?
$50.
$50. So
but
now,
a more longer time frame too.
Yes. So now year two, I'm going to make 5% on 1,050 as opposed to 5% on 1,000. Exactly right. So now when we go to year three, now I've got $1,102.50. And at the end of year three, I'm going to make, right here from the first year, $50, $52.50, $55.13. Each year I earn more money because the compound interest compounded because of my principal balance increased from year to year. And again, remember when we was talking about the loans, this is how you hear people say that interest is a double-edged sword. It's great when you getting it, but it's horrible when you paying it, right? Right. So when you're getting interest, see how it benefits you here. So over the course of 3 years, in this example, obviously the more money you invest, the more money you make. But you can start investing anywhere with any amount, right? So over 3 years in this example, this person made $157.63. How much money do you make if I gave you $1,000 and told you to take it home and put it under your mattress in 3 years, and I called you up in 3 years? How much? If I say how much money you got, how much you gonna tell me you got? Barring you spend it or do something like that, or loan it to family members, right? You gonna tell me you got $1,000, but when you invest it, your money grows, right? Let's talk about. Again, remember I told you I'm huge on mindset. So let's talk about certain things that influence our spending. It's human nature to want what others have. I wanted stuff when I was coming up. I wanted it bad, but I just couldn't afford it. Advertisers spend money to influence, again, remember? When Snoop Dogg had on those Tommy Hilfigers, back from early in the slide, when Snoop Dogg had on that Tommy Hilfiger, did they charge him for that, to wear that? He was probably getting it free, wasn't he?
Yeah, and at the same time, he was doing marketing for them, like influential, you know?
Yeah. Snoop Dogg was marketing for them,
Mm-hmm.
and he was getting paid, and he was probably getting all that clothes free. But why did they have Snoop Dogg in there? Because Snoop Dogg has influence on the community.
People like him, and they watch him, and they look at, that's why they do it.
Yes, exactly.
And Snoop Dogg influenced me to buy that stuff because Snoop Dogg was wearing it. I'm going to buy it. And that's what marketers bank on, right? Has anybody ever had this happen? Do we fall for this trick all the time, don't we? We fall for
Oh
this.
yeah, they will up the price and then make you think you're getting a good deal, but they already
Yeah.
raised the price. Yeah.
Yeah. We fall for this all the time. I tell people, you can go into a store and you can see the original price on something, and you come back when it's quote unquote on sale, and what they've marked it up, but the sale price is the original price that they wanted for it in the first place. But when you see, oh, it was originally $200, now it's $100, oh, I gotta get it. No, you don't. No, you don't. Right? I had a guy, I heard him talking to his wife. His wife came home and she said, look, Greg, I saved 30% on this. Look what I got. He said, you could have saved 100% and did not if you didn't buy it at all. So just be cognizant of the tricks they use to get you. Marketing and advertisement, the whole basis of that, the basis of that is to separate you from your money. That's when you see commercials, any of that stuff. They're trying to separate you from your money. They want you to buy their products, whether you need it or not. Again, influences on our choices about money. Advertisements, media, again, celebrities, peers, friends. Strategies for staying focused on your goals. Recognize tactics by advertisers. Notice when you're being tempted. If I have a shoe fetish, should I be running? Let's say if I have a tennis shoe fetish, should I be running out to Foot Locker every day or once a week? Should I be doing that? That's going to tempt me to spend my money. Control your environment. Build a pause, time out. Ask yourself, do I need to really be buying this? Do I need this new outfit for this party this weekend? Or can I go home and get in my closet and get out something and still look just as fly? Right? More okay. I'm co-signing this 100%. This is what I had a young man, individual tell me once when I was trying to determine whether I should buy something. Let's say you've been wanting that designer purse or whatever it is. Let's say that designer purse costs $500. You take the cost of that designer purse, which will be right here, and you divide it by how much ever you make an hour. Do we get that? You take the cost of that designer purse, you divide it by how much you make an hour, and that will tell you how many hours you have to work to pay for it. So let's say I want to buy something. I put in the cost and I come up with against my hourly wages. And let's say it tells me I have to work 2 weeks to pay for it. Are you willing to give up 2 weeks of work for that item? Anybody? Are you willing to give up 2 weeks of work for a purse or a pair of shoes? When I started looking at it from this perspective, man, that means for 2 weeks I got to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Nope.
For 2 weeks I got to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, go to work, get off at 5, and for 2 weeks to do that just to have whatever this item is. And when I see it from that perspective, I was like, heck no, it's not worth it. If I can't buy it up front, if I can't purchase it, this is just another way. This helped me stay focused on my goals when I was going through my budgeting. Usain Bolt said he trained for 4 years to run 9 seconds, and people give up after 2 months if they don't get results. When you're going through this budgeting process, there are going to be times where you feel like you're being constrained. You're not having fun with your money. I can't do this. I can't do that. And they're going to get to a point. Some people, they just stop and give up, but when you do that, just remember, you're still going to be in the same rut that you're in. This stuff takes time. I told you, it took me 2 to 3 years to get to where I thought what I wanted to be comfortable with my money. Do not give up. Just keep going. You can do anything for a time frame. You can do anything for a time frame.
I'm going to give you some tips as we start to wind down here. I'll open it up for questioning or whatnot, but I'm going to give you some tips and takeaways. I want you to avoid the holiday spending trap. What do I mean? What am I talking about here, y'all? What's the holiday spending trap?
Buying stuff just for no reason.
Buying it for no reason. Give me an example. Somebody give me an example.
Well, look, I've been woken this Christmas. I'm like, why are we spending one day bending our backs over buying all these gifts for these kids when they get stuff throughout the year? I'm not doing that no more.
Right. And it puts you in a bind because what are we doing a lot of times? We're spending money that we don't have.
That we don't have.
We're spending money we don't have. Just like Christmas. I can remember back in the day, people would spend $400, $500, $600 on their kids for Christmas. Now that's easy to do today because if you think about these PlayStation and these Xbox, that's $400 just for that.
Another example is on certain holidays, we go and buy these certain outfits that we can only wear one time.
One time.
And I'm not doing that no more.
Get something out of your closet.
What you said?
Get something out of your closet. All of these things. And again, I'm not telling you not to have fun with your money, but you need to be focused and locked in.
Right.
When I made that decision to get my finances together, guess what I can do now? Now I can take that vacation. Now I could go out here right now and buy 5 pair of Air Jordans if I wanted to, and pay for them. But that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do with my money. I don't want to do that. But I'm at a point through budgeting and getting responsible with my finances. I'm at a point to where that I can do that if I want. That's what I'm trying to get you to get to. You get to a point to where you can do it, but you won't even want to do that. You don't even want to spend your money on that. So avoid these holiday spending traps. I remember when I was a kid, we had to have a 4th of July outfit just to walk around the neighborhood, up in the big park, in the projects. Birthdays, I'm not saying don't celebrate, but just tone it down. You don't have to go all extravagant for your birthday, at least not every year. Anniversaries, all of these things. Just avoid these holiday spending traps. Dupe deals. A dupe is short for duplicate, right? If you in this example here, if you see something, my girlfriend does it all the time. If she sees a picture of a dress she put it in some kind of app, and it'll guide her to some place where she can get something that looks similar to that, but it'll be 200% cheaper, right? So shop around for certain things. Group economics. What do I mean when I say group economics? I'm gonna give you an example real quick. So I have a family that I work with. There's the husband, the wife, and the 2 sons. All 4 of them went together and bought a house. All 4 of them owned the mortgage. All 4 of them owned the deed to the property. They went together and they went to the bank and they got a loan for a house. They stayed in that house for about 4 or 5 years, and all 4 of them split the mortgage. So you got 4 people splitting up. At the time, the mortgage was $800. So you got 4 people splitting $800. After 4 or 5 years, what are they doing? And they're splitting all the bills. So they're saving money in their bank accounts, in investment accounts. But in terms of that house, they're building equity in that house. So they use the equity in the first house and whatever some money they had saved, and they went and bought another house. So now the 2 parents live in the first home, and the 2 sons the 2 brothers live in the second home. 5 more years go by. They leverage the equity in that house, and they go buy another house. So now the parents have a home of their own, and both sons have their own home. Group economics. When group economics is pooling your resources together to make it easier to achieve something. Now, you got to get in with the right family members, but it could be family members, cousins, your best friends, people you trust. And again, they have to have the same mindset as you, right? The same mindset. We're trying to build something here. Group economics. They started out with one house. Now they have 3 houses. So the parents have a house and both sons have their own home. That's what I mean when I say group economics. The value of money. Before we have money, this is how we value money. Right here. When we get our hands on it, this is how we value it. And what this means is that we spend it so frivolously. And when we get our hands on money, we can't wait to go spend it. But we spend it on things that have no significance. But after we lose it, what happens? We go back to this after we lose it. You ever hear people sit around, man, I used to have this, I used to have that. Well, yeah, you did, but you blew it. So value it when you have it and make the right decisions with your money. Your financial check engine. Stop neglecting your personal finances. If you know your finances ain't right, you know you need to be doing things. You know you shouldn't be spending your money on certain things, whatever that is. Stop it. Get it in order. It's like that check engine light on your car. You get in that car every day and you see that check engine light on. And when that first time that check engine light came on for your car, it may have been something minor that you need to get fixed. But you know what you did? You kept ignoring it and ignoring it and ignoring it. Now something else goes wrong because you didn't get that first thing fixed. So now when you do go get it, now when you do get it to fix, you got 4 or 5 things wrong with it now, right? That's just like your personal finances. When that check engine light comes on in your personal finances, do something about it right then and there. My name is Dale Morgan. Do you all have any questions for me? Anything I can elaborate on?
Hey, Dale, I just wanted to say, my husband was actually listening to, he said, I learned a lot from this guy. I think you should have been at the beginning. And thank you, because we are trying to, we're kind of late bloomers at 40 and just now trying to get things, to heal and deal. Yeah. And everything that you said, it was very, very useful. So thank you for being here for us today.
And thank you. I appreciate that so much. Let me say this to you. Everything that I've said here today, I've experienced it. I've heard other people that I work with experienced it. I work with people. I do one-on-one sessions with people. I have affiliated companies that I work with, and we help people get to where they need to be. But everything that I've told you here today, it won't work if you don't do what?
Change your mindset.
Change your mindset. Change your mindset, and you have to implement these strategies and concepts. It's one thing to change your mindset and know what to do, but you actually have to do what? You have to actually do it.
And you have to work at it.
Yes.
Man, when you talk about the fast part of your brain and the slow,
yes.
It's funny because if we put the slow part front and center, you know what I mean? We would.
Yeah.
So that's just my dyslexic thinking, but hey, but thank you for everything, for real. I enjoyed it.
Anybody have any questions? Divine, anybody have any questions for me?
I don't. I probably can speak on everybody else's behalf. And if y'all agree, please put it in the comments. But we just thank you, bro. We appreciate your transparency. It hits different when it's somebody that comes from the city, that comes from, and we just appreciate it, man. There was a lot of stuff I learned, but I think the biggest and most practical thing for me, and this is me personally, I got to change my mind state.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And when we talk about the root causes of so much that we deal with in our community, a lot of it is that financial piece. And
yes.
And we got people like you now, so it's no excuse. You know what I mean? They can't keep it from us no more. So, I just appreciate you, man. And, look like I'm looking in the chat. Look like everybody agreed, bro. So
let me say this before, Divine. Let me say this before I go, because
sure.
I'm over here getting goosebumps, man, because I'm trying to tell you, man. East End is my stomping ground, cuz I was all in East End. That's why I grew up, man. East End, Charles Young, the Lyric Theater, all of that stuff. And I experienced extreme poverty. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about holiday trap for Christmas. I didn't get stuff for Christmas. I didn't get nothing for my birthday, all of that stuff. But those situations, I want people to take those experiences that we go through in situations. That's what builds our character, and that's what makes us who we are.
me not getting all those things that I wanted made me more apt and more susceptible to be able to go without them. That's why in my adult life, I can go without those things, right? So again, I'm from East End. I'm just like you all. Hey, I was poor. I grew up poor. I didn't have a lot of things, but I changed my mindset and I changed my life. And you can do it too. No matter what anybody tells you or anybody says, if you make up your mind to do it, you can do it. And don't let anybody tell you you can't do anything differently. That's all I have for today. And again, here's my contact information. If anybody want to reach out, I have, like I said, I have affiliated companies that I work with to help people with investing, getting life insurance, and all those things. So I'm turning it back over to you. I have no more to say unless there are any questions.
Nope. Just make sure everybody you screenshot the screen now. It's got Dale's contact info. I know a lot of y'all got kids and grandkids that might be wanting to open up bank accounts, might be going off to college. And so Dale would be a good person to connect in with. And I'm going to try to get some, maybe some PDFs, Dale, of some of this presentation. And actually, I think we recorded it. So what I might do is upload it onto, I think you recorded it. So I get the file, I'll upload it to YouTube and then share it with y'all so y'all can revisit it anytime. You know what I mean? So, but that's all I got. I appreciate y'all hopping on. I know it's Saturday, so get back to y'all's weekend. Appreciate you, Dale.
Thank y'all. Thank everybody. Have a great weekend, y'all.
You too.